buonasera. Something I never understand in Italy is what time of the day do you stop saying buongiorno and do you start saying buonasera? Is it early enough? Okay. So when I was still a student, I had an idea for a children's book, which I wrote, and it was much longer than this, much longer than The Broken Mirror. And the only thing that this book was finished, but it was never published. And the only thing that the two books have in common is this one single idea about children, or a child in this case, who finds a fragment of mirror which seems to reflect something unexpected. She doesn't understand the reflections in the mirror because they don't seem to be showing what she expects. And in the version I wrote when I was 22, I was very influenced by C.S. Lewis and the Narnia books, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. And so, of course, the mirror reflected a kind of fantasy world, and eventually the children found their way into this fantasy world, and it was a very unoriginal idea, very derivative of C.S. Lewis. But I kept that one single idea, and in this book I used it to tell a completely different story. So the idea of the mirror in this version of the story, the one I've just written now, is more psychological and even more political. That the girl, who is 8 years old when she finds the mirror, begins to realize that the mirror does not reflect the world as it is. It doesn't reflect reality. It reflects an ideal version of the world. It reflects the world as it should be. And of course, as she grows up, because in this very short book, she grows from the age of 8 to the age of 15 or so, her conception of what that is changes. At the beginning, when she's very young, the things she sees in the mirror are the things she wants to see in her real life. She sees things out of a fairy tale. She sees dragons. She sees unicorns. She sees fairy castles. As she develops, as she stops becoming a child and becomes an adolescent, she starts to develop a consciousness which understands that the world can never be like that, but it can be different from the one that she inhabits. So the book is almost about the development of her political consciousness. So is it a children's book? I don't know. It's a very simple book. It's a book written in very plain language. It's a fable. It's a book which has an element of magic in the story. But I don't know if that makes it a children's book or not. I would hope that everybody might enjoy it. Another slightly unusual aspect of the narrative is that about halfway through the writing of the book, I decided that I would, if possible, I would like the book to be published in Italy first, before any other country. And in fact, Italy, so far, is the only place where the book has been published. And this made me think about my main character, Claire, and where she lives. And when I started writing the book, the country where she lived was recognizably a version of contemporary England. But I changed that as I went on in the writing. And if you read the book, you will see that the town where she lives is kind of hard to define, hard to pinpoint. At some times it feels like a British town. At other times it feels more like a kind of a generic Middle European town. It's never named. The location of the story is never named. And when I also realized that my collaborator, Chiara Coccaresi, was going to do the illustrations for this book, her illustrations also are very beautiful, and in a way which I can't quite define, very un-English, very European, and specifically Italian in style. So in terms of the location, the setting of the story, it inhabits a strange kind of halfway place between Britain and Italy, I guess. And that actually appealed to me once I decided to take that decision, because it gave it not an unrealistic atmosphere, but an atmosphere which makes the location hard to pin down.
take place.
Grazie.
Thank you. Grazie mille.